Okay. Hello. And this is a impromptu uh, how I'm working video. I know I've said multiple times that I want to try and do these regularly again, and I keep telling myself, I'm off weekends. I can easily schedule the time, but yeah, no. But I do promise that I will be trying to do these on a little bit more of a regular basis. I'm still looking into ways of getting these to do more of a marketing thing. I don't know. I'm looking into other marketing strategies. I came across a website. I have to look into it a little bit further. That'll make promotional videos. The prices look pretty reasonable, but again, it's something that I have to look into. But the work continues, and if you saw any of my posts, you'll see that I found myself in a little bit of a quandary. I had 4 completed stories that need editing, plus I have 2 first draft projects that I wanted to work on, and I was trying to juggle all 6 projects at the same time, which is a bit much even for me. I usually do work on multiple projects at one time, but 6 is a bit much. So what I decided to do is concentrate on getting these stories edited and then go back to the first draft writing. The reason for this is I have more of a tendency to forget the stories that are completed and sitting there on the hard drive waiting to be edited than I will the first draft stories that are sitting in the 2 notebooks right here to my left. Also, my subconscious is constantly turning over the plot lines, trying to get everything figured out and work and the sequence of events worked out, so that when I get back to it, I should be able to get them finished. This is one of the glories of being being an independent, self-published author. I don't have a deadline, except for the ones that I impose on myself, and I don't impose deadlines on myself. Excuse me. If I do sound a bit congested, I'm sorry. My allergies this morning, for some ungodly reason, have decided to act up. Ouch. Have decided to act up. So sorry if I sound congested. No, pardon me. The elixir of life. So today, I'm hoping to finish editing Upon a Far Distant Shore, my quasi superhero story. I am about this editing pass. I always do multiple passes. I'm into I'd say the last third of the story. Yeah, I'd say about the last third of the story. It's coming along pretty well. There are pages filled with very large amounts of red ink. It looks sometimes like somebody went after them with couldn't find my pen. Looks like somebody went after them with a switchblade. One of the things I mentioned yesterday was that you're supposed to, when editing, the common wisdom is you're supposed to take out, not put in. Unfortunately, given the way that I work on things, I usually end up adding. Because what happens is I'll be writing along and I'll come across a sequence or a scene that I'll get hung up on, a description of a room, or a setting or something, and I'll have two choices. I could sit there and stress over it, or I can tell the story. So what I'll do a lot of times is I'll just like throw in just a small little paragraph, knowing that I'll fix it in editing, or I'll put a little red asterisk at the end of the paragraph, or I'll just put a parenthetical statement that says, this is what's supposed to happen here, and then come back to it. I had to do that a couple times toward the end of Stranger, for example, because there's a couple of fight sequences, and I'm not good with action. So, anyway, normally, I never learned the editing symbols. I never learned them, so I just use my own system because it works for me. Like, for example, I know it's backwards, I'm sorry. With this paragraph here, you see the red arrow pointing down where I rewrote it at the bottom of the page. If it's just one short paragraph, that's what I'll do. But then there's this paragraph down there at the bottom, which got rewritten to that. And again, it was one of those situations where I had to go a little bit in depth to explain what was going on and how Artemis came to the realization of what was happening. And this is again more of the same. You can see with the note on the side that says over, which is where this paragraph up here and these down at the bottom were rewritten 1 and 2. A lot of times, though, it's more like rewrote the top paragraph right above it, or rewrote some lines. Usually I'll do it right above or right below. I had to back up because I had gone through and edited. I always do multiple editing passes, but the last one that I did in July, middle to end of July, it got to the point where I wasn't so much editing as I was just reading. I mean it is, having a page or two with no marks on it. Okay, yeah, that happens. But I was going through the entire end of the story, and there was nothing getting even slightly changed. So there was that. And so I had to stop, back up, and do it again. That's when I came to the decision to stop first draft writing and where I had to stop first draft writing and just concentrate on editing. So that's where we stand right now. I'm going to concentrate on editing. I do have a couple of errands to run later today. and I have to figure out why it's been impossible for me to lose weight, even though I'm exercising and trying to cut back on what I'm eating. I have no idea what is going on. So that's that, and I know as I said, I know I've said this before, but I will try and do these again on a more regular basis. I mean, I was doing one every other week for a while there, but we'll see what happens. So that's it. I was going to start editing while recording, but that gets boring. Sitting here watching me work. So, I excuse me. I know no one's watching this now. I didn't bother mentioning it. It's just something that occurred to me while I was watching some YouTube videos this morning, and we're off to edit. Hopefully, I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks. Take care. And if you're interested, the books can be found on the website Woodboy's Words. I'll put the web address down at the bottom. Just go to the books tab. All 7 books are there with descriptions and links on how to get them. They're available through Smashwords, Lulu, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. They're also available as print books through Amazon and CreateSpace. So if you haven't already, if you have already, thanks. Make sure you leave a review. If you haven't, go take a look and see if anything catches your interest. Thanks. Take care. Bye.